Mr. Republican over here. You know, he does. You know, he works. I believe he works for one of our assembly people, and does different campaigns, stuff like that. He's a crack up. He loves it. He tries to hate, but in the end, he's a big fan. Now, we're talking to the guys, Kyler Carlisle and Raul Price, who wrote Don't Blink. You can check it out at don'tblink.com. Gold sponsor of the John D. Villarreal radio show this week. And, Paul, I want to bring Paul in here. Now, Paul, these guys basically sound like they're talking a lot of the Ron Paul type stuff and a lot of the Tea Party type stuff. And they want to, take America back and get some freedom and some less spending going on.
That's good. I mean, as I said before, this is what we want to see, not just from the youth of America, but from all the people of America. I think that the reaction to the Obama agenda of the past couple years has been a kind of, as Glenn Beck has described it, a great awakening of what America is about, the history of America, and how much people need to get involved to make sure that things are changed back to what they want them to be.
That's a good point. Like, let's talk about you guys' influences. I mean, who are your big influences? Let's say the top 5 people that you like to, you listen to. Is it a Beck, a Limbaugh, a Ron Paul? You tell me who you guys like.
All right, well, of course, our main one is Ron Paul. We agree with almost all of his views, especially in economic and foreign policy.
Dude, they're down with Ron Paul. Ron Paul's making some kind of resurgence. I can't get with that, but we'll talk about that. But, okay, fine. Ron Paul.
All right. Also, one of them would be, okay, this could be iffy, but one of them is Alex Jones, of course, when it comes to a lot of getting information. And
now, here's the thing about Alex Jones. This is just my personal opinion right now, whatever. I've said it before in our videos, whatever. As a broadcaster, I think Alex Jones is phenomenal. I think he is a phenomenal talent. I think that he's extremely smart, has built a huge business, and he, in my personal opinion, is laughing all the way to the bank. I don't take Alex Jones that seriously because, I think that a lot of it is a shtick, and you know what I mean? It's almost like if you listen to the great Art Bell or now Ron Nuri, right? That's Alex Jones for politics, in my personal opinion. But but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have some points and that he doesn't say some great things that need to be said and he doesn't, do some stuff. I think that he just, like for my own style, I like to throw the high heat and do the thing. And then there's a line or a cliff or whatever. And, I'm like football fields away from that, right? Regardless of what some of the Van Pelts will love to say sometimes. And then there's Alex Jones. He just took a drag racer and went right over the cliff. Now, he's got a parachute called a whole lot of cash in the First Amendment, but that's my opinion of Ron Paul. But anyway, Alex Jones. But huge respect to him, tremendous talent, better at radio than I am, and he's making a ton of money. So God bless him for that. But I'm sorry, I distracted you. You tell me some more of your influence.
Well, another one probably is, coming around definitely, I've been watching is Glenn Beck because he's gotten a lot more onto the issues than he used to be before.
Right.
And he's coming out there and hitting it hard and exposing some things that really need to be exposed. And what personally got me, like this whole area into Ron Paul and that kind of stuff, I don't really support him that much. I don't really support him that much anymore because he's, kind of but was Jesse Ventura. I saw him in an interview. No, I know. I saw him in an interview on Larry King, and it just happened to me to Google, and it got me into seeing some of the issues. But, now he's kind of, into the open borders type of that kind of guy.
Well, let me argue against myself for a second, right? And that is this. I don't think whether it's Ron Paul, Ventura, National Enquirer, and Paul, you can talk to this because they try to tar the National Enquirer too. It's like, oh, we can't listen to that John Edwards story because the National Enquirer is the one that broke it, right? Mm-hmm. And so the point is this. I don't care who you're talking about, Alex Jones, Ron Paul, they all have big followings for a reason. They're speaking to somebody out there, and what I'm trying to say is I don't want to be guilty of what I think the left does a lot, which is like call people names, and I'm not calling anybody a name, but this is all my personal opinion, not casting aspersions or alleging any facts, all for entertainment and informational purposes only. You know that. Now, but what I'm saying is that we have to judge people issue by issue. In other words, I can not like what you guys have said on 90% of the stuff, but if you say something on this thing and it's right, then that's right. It doesn't matter. What I think about your person. So we have to take it. And so what I'm saying is, Ron Paul and Alex Jones and Governor Ventura are obviously speaking to some people out there. And I think that there is a strong reaction to what this government's doing, and the kind of overbearing nature of it now. And people are like, hey, wait a minute. We want to hear some other sides. We want to hear some other voices. You know, what are you not telling us? What are you really doing here? Who's really in control? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I guarantee you, me and you can agree on 90% of all the issues when it comes to economics, you know, unemployment, whether it comes to global warming, inflation, debt, whatever it is. I guarantee you, we agree. And another influence I'd like to say is probably for, you know, when it comes to the Constitution is Judge, you know, Napolitano, who's now on fire.
He's great. I love the judge. He's very smart. Nice guy, too. Libertarian. No, hey, look, there is a growing libertarian streak in America, bottom line. And we can have a disagreement over, oh, well, we should be in no foreign wars or some foreign wars, or you know, we should audit the Fed, not audit the Fed. I mean, there's all these different things. And a lot of things that they were saying with Ron Paul, like, was very quote-unquote kooky or something like that years ago. All of a sudden now, well, maybe we should audit the Fed. So I think there's a look back and a pendulum back. The net of it is, without talking about this personalities, I like them or don't like them, or calling people names or trying to put people in a box, the bottom line is, in my personal opinion, people are saying, hey, you know what? There's too much spending. The government has too much control. We want our freedoms back. We want to be able to check. You know, it used to be that the media thought, you know, we're truth to power. Well, now it seems like they're all buddies, and it's a revolving door between the government and the media, the mainstream media and this and that, whatever. And the Americans are like yourselves are saying, hey, you know what? We just want America to work correctly again. We want to have a future too. We don't want to be so burdened with debt. You can hate Ron Paul or any of the other folks that we mentioned or whatever. These young men have said that are some of their inspirations, but at the end of the day, how can you dispute the underlying point, which is there's too much gosh dang debt in this country, and it comes from the government spending too much fiscally, and it comes from the Fed printing too much money, and if we don't do something, we are going to leave a situation for the next generation, you guys, and the kids and the grandkids, that is just untenable, and we may end up like a Greece. We may end up like a UU. Isn't that the point?
Yeah. Well, just reiterating what you said, I think that even though we disagree on some of the issues like foreign policy and some of this stuff, I think we can all agree that there is way too much government in this country. And I think that as part of the youth, I think that we're entitled to some of the same opportunities that the last generation had.
Oh, this Van Pelt here says you guys need to get to work and pay his Social Security. and then, of course, like a Van Pelt says, oh, what candidates and campaigns have they run? I'm like, they're 16. They just wrote a book. Chill out, Van Pelt. Go check it out at don'tblinkbook.com. And then maybe you can learn some stuff. That doesn't come from just the Van Pelt Republican playbook, okay? You'll learn some things outside of Sacramento too, bro.
And when it comes down to it, I wanted to mention this issue. Let's just talk about Social Security. Why should there not be an option to not put into Social Security if you don't want it for the young age?
Hey, I've been saying that George W. Bush, who's now starting to get some credit again. I was always a George W. Bush fan, although, you know, okay, he blew it on the compassionate conservatism stuff when he spent a little bit too much. He was spending too much and did a couple things, but I think overall he was a really fine president, in my personal opinion. And he tried to privatize Social Security, and that's what we should have done and what we need to do with a lot of these things, because it doesn't mean, oh, you're playing the risky stock market. Dude, hello, McFly. If the stock market and the bond market's crash in America, the whole government's gone anyway, okay? Why do you think they fund it through selling our treasuries, okay? So we're all tied to the stock market at the end of the day, bottom line, all right? So the point is, why don't you give people a choice? And why can't we actually have a situation where it is your money, you know, your money? I'm 40 years old. If I would be more than happy to give all of whatever I've earned in Social Security, this and that, whatever, over to government, whatever, if they allow me the opportunity today to have my own private account that I could put in. If I want to invest it in treasuries, I can do that. If I want to invest it in index fund, I mean, it's just like a 401k. It's no more risky than a 401k, and we can even set it up with more. It's safer than that, even with certain investments, or potentially safer.
Yeah, well, how about this idea? How about you just lower the income tax and give more people more money to the people? Because when it comes to Social Security, we got a monster of a Social Security system. Our unfunded liabilities alone is around $111 trillion, and about $70 trillion of that is from Social Security alone.
Dude, I know. Paul, what do you think about that? I mean, Social Security, I don't think it's going to be there for us as it's currently constituted.
People are concerned about Social Security. I mean, one of the things that the commission that Barack Obama appointed, people have kind of derisively called it the cat food commission.
Uh-oh.
But one of the things that they've been talking about is, the austerity measures. And a feature of the tax cut compromise that was just passed was the payroll tax holiday. And people that are defenders of Social Security are saying, hey, wait a second. You're opening up the door to jeopardize Social Security.
Defund Social Security. That's a good point.
Exactly.
That's a great point.
See, that's why we got Paul. We have everyone in the mix here. We got Dave over there. Fabulous show. He does his whole thing, Afternoons Live with Dave Diamond. You got to check it out. The #1 show in the Central Valley. We got the guys here talking about Don't Blink. Don'tBlink.com, $11.99. You can learn all, and that's the thing. We just need a discussion. And this is the thing. You don't have to agree with everything that I've said or on the John D. Villarreal radio show. You don't have to agree with everything that Ralph and Kyler have said in Don't Blink. But you need to inform yourself. And that's what you guys said about what happened to yourselves. You can't be on the sidelines anymore because, your house might get foreclosed on. Or maybe you don't get that job. Or you went to school and you took out a lot of debt and now you can't find a job. Or maybe you worked your whole life in Social Security and now it's gone.
Yeah, well, what I'd like to tell people, probably the most important thing, is that freedom is not free. You cannot take a back seat and just expect it to be kept towards you. Freedom, it's a never-ending battle that you need to keep engaged in to make sure you keep your freedoms.
I love that. We're going to talk about all that and more when we come back. And in this last segment, I want to talk about how do we fix this? What are the recommendations that you guys have got on with this book? And what can we learn going forward and arm ourselves with information to try to, make this country better and get it back on track? And that's what everybody wants, right? So, hey, listen, you can check out more from these guys right now at don'tblinkbook.com. Check it out right now. They also have a cool Facebook page. You can sign up for that and the whole 9 yards. And you're listening to the John D. Villarreal radio show on the Conservative New Media Radio Network.